Hello. I am recording this video, and the purpose of this video is for you to disagree with me and tell me how much my opinion sucks, um, based on how different it is from yours. So feel free to do it, okay? So let's get started. I'm gonna start from, of course, from the first one, from their debut record, and I'm gonna do this chronologically. So, Hybrid Theory. When I was a kid, I thought I thought this was like the greatest shit ever done. And as a grown ass man, I still feel the same way about this record. The type of record that when you press play, you just can't sit still. It's really hard to contain yourself. You really feel the need to bang your head and sing along to the tracks. Man, it's just wonderful. It's one of the greatest new metal records ever. I think it only loses to some of Korn's earlier work. And yeah, there's nothing else to be said about this one. It's definitely an S tier record. My favorite track from this record nowadays, I think it is Forgotten. I just can't get enough of those chugga chugga riffs with the natural harmonics. It's just amazing to me. Now the follow up, Meteora. 3 years later, they came out with this one. Some people complain that it was more melodic, but actually, I think that this is one of the strongest features of this record. I think they took what they did in Hybrid Theory and they just took it to the next level, just improved their sound. I think it's more consistent and I think it's deeper. The lyrics are more, I wouldn't dare to say mature yet, but compared to the first record, I think that they grew a lot throughout the cycles between these two records. And in my opinion, it is my personal favorite record. So yeah, there it is, another S tier here. Now we're walking into something that divides lots of opinions. I remember when this came out. I think I was 12 years old. Yeah, I was 12 years old. I was at school and I wasn't too critical about music. I would listen to something and it didn't really matter how it sounded. It was something that if I liked it, I liked it. It was the thing. With Minutes to Midnight, I listened to the first track that came out as a single, which was What I've Done. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. And then I was looking forward to listen to the rest of the album. But as a kid, as a 12-year-old, I didn't have the habit of listening to full albums. I didn't know that this was a thing. So I would just wait for the singles to come out so I could watch it on MTV. And every single one of those singles were like amazing to me. So I really hold this record in a special place. But there's one thing to be said. When I listened to the record in its entirety, I felt like it lost a little bit of momentum during the sixth or seventh track, and it's not for a long time. I'm pretty sure that it is regained near the end of the record. The closing track, "The Little Things Give You Away," honestly one of the best Linkin Park songs ever. It took me a while to feel this way about this track, but when I did, it just gave me a whole new perspective of the band and of what they could do, how versatile they could be. So yeah, but how would I fit this in the tier list? Ooh. Yeah, I would say that this is an A tier record. I said that I was gonna try to be more objective about this, but I just can't detach myself from the from the emotional side of the thing. So yeah, whatever. The next one, If I said that this one was already divisive among the fan base, A Thousand Suns was definitely the Linkin Park divisive album. Up until that moment, of course. I think that they experimented a lot. It's their experimental album. It's an album about the nuclear warfare. It's a concept record, and it's very different. The approach to this record is very different. The way that it's a very cinematic record. Let's be clear about it. And um, the way it starts with an intro track, and then there's a transition track as number two, and then it starts. The first official track is "Burning in the Skies," and it is a ballad. So it's very rare for a record to start off like this. But don't feel discouraged. You are in for a treat. It's an amazing trip. It's very beautiful when you listen to this record in its entirety with an open mind. Forget everything you know about Linkin Park. Try to listen to this record as a new experience. You have no idea of who the band is. Just press play, and I'm pretty sure that you're gonna like it if you listen to that in that headspace. I think it's a great record. There's nothing. It's less sugary when it comes to choruses. I feel like team, due to the theme of the record, it's it's more serious, you know. So there's less room for catchy hooks. Let's put it this way. The way that I feel about this record nowadays, when it came out, I was one of the few ones in my social circle to like this record. Everybody was talking so much shit about it. But I was there defending since day one as a 15-year-old. Still, this is my second Linkin Park. This is my second favorite Linkin Park record. So there it is. In my opinion, it's better than Hybrid Theory. Uh, Fifth record on the list, Living Things. Honestly, this record came out at a very convenient time. It was a time that I was struggling. It was my last year of high school, and I was going through that uncertainty of who I was, what I was going to do with my life. So that was I was in a limbo, you know. I didn't feel inspired to do anything. I was doing really badly academically. My feeling lonely. It was a pretty tough record, and this one really helped me out. But I gotta be honest about Living Things. It's a record that loses a lot of momentum during the second half. I think the first four tracks are like just one of the best Linkin Park songs they've ever written. But after that, I think it's kind of underwhelming, you know? Even the closing track, I used to like it a lot back in the day, but nowadays it's just doesn't do much for me. Talking about Powerless. If I could point out the best tracks on this record, that would be In My Remains, Lost in the Echo, even Burn It Down could make it to that list. And Roads and Travel. I think the lyrics to Roads and Travel, they really touch me to a certain sense. Musically, the song didn't do much for me when it was released, but a few years later, when I was actually paying attention to the lyrics, it really grabbed me by the heart. It was rough. But how would I rank this record? Like I said, just because it loses momentum and it's a little inconsistent in the end, I would say that it's a B tier record. My answer would probably be completely different 10 years ago when it came out. It would be definitely on the top three, but yeah, that's it. Now, the next one, The Hunting Party. What's there to say about The Hunting Party? They kind of hyped up this record a lot because they said that they would bring back the guitars, which was something that a lot of people were missing, and a lot of people got excited about it. And first of all, it's not a new metal record. It has guitars, but it's not a new metal record. It's more influenced by. There are tracks that are more. It has a. There are tracks that has a punk vibe there, and some tracks are more of a alternative rock with more guitars. Let's put it this way. It was the first Linkin Park record that I actually had to listen to it 10 times to start enjoying. So it was a letdown at first. But then after giving lots of chances, I started coming around. And nowadays I think it's holy shit, I want to burp so bad. All right. Nowadays, I think it's. How would I rank this record? I'm actually having a hard time here. I don't know, just thinking about the tracks. I think the lead singles didn't do much. I am more affectionate about the deep cuts, actually. Mark the Graves, A Line in the Sand. What a closing. What a fucking beautiful closing track. I think it's the best one they've ever put out. It even tops Pushing Me Away and you know every single every single ending. And I like the one featuring Paige Hamilton. What's the name of that track? All for Nothing. It's really good. Keys to the Kingdom. It's a great starter. This record is full of bangers, let's be honest. But these bangers are the deep cuts, not talking about the singles. It took me a few years to start enjoying Guilty All the Same. Oh, Wastelands is pretty good as well. But how would I rank them? Is it better than Living Things? Nowadays, I do feel this way. Is it better than Minutes to Midnight? I don't think so. I don't think so. No, it isn't. Now, let's talk about the last record, the one before Chester passed away. This record, I have lots of bittersweet memories regarding it because it was a record that I was actually excited about. Because I was up until that moment, I was already used to Linkin Park's dynamics because they would change their sound with every passing album. If you compared the albums to one another, the only ones who have who are likely similar are Meteora and Hybrid Theory. After that, everything was different. So I was already used to the pattern. So when I heard the first tracks, when I heard Heavy, I was going through a lot as usual. And that track really spoke to me. It was like a minimalistic pop song, and the verses were very short, but somehow that's the quietness of the track. It's what really attracted me because I could really pay attention to the lyrics. There was nothing else distracting my mind, so it really connected with me, and I was. The track almost made me cry, but it didn't. Anyway, I listened to Battle Symphony afterwards. I felt a little weird about those synths, those distorted, pitchy vocals. But I came around and I started loving it pretty soon. Good Goodbye, I loved right off the bat. The only track that I don't like about this record, from this record, is Sorry for Now. The rest, I think it's I don't want to say full of bangers because people seem to hate this record a lot. But to me, they sound really good. But there's one complaint about this record. I gotta be honest. I think that when they were releasing the videos talking about talking in the studio, what was their approach like to this record, they mentioned that they teamed up with a lot of songwriters, with a lot of producers as well, I guess. And honestly, to make such a minimalistic pop record, it could have been so much better than the final product, of course. I think that there were too many cooks in the kitchen with this one. but still, it's a record that I'm very affectionate about, and I still have a hard time listening to it because I was, again, among my friends, I was one of the few who actually defended this record. I was defending the artistic integrity that the band should do whatever the fuck they want, and then maybe the next record would be sounding more similar to what they expected, considering the band's history. But turns out that the we had that tragic ending for Chester, and I find it very hard to listen to this record. It's the hardest, in my opinion, the hardest. And the way that I would rank this record, I don't think Linkin Park ever produced a bad album. I think I would put this one nowadays. I would be actually surprised regarding my opinions. I think it is slightly better than Living Things. Why? Why am I doing this? Because I feel like One More Light is somehow consistent and loyal to what it loyal to its purpose, you know? I feel like the tracks they flow better into one another. And with Living Things, it's that rush in the beginning, those first four tracks that are really good, but then it slowly fades away. The momentum is gone, and it gets kind of dull enduring the record all the way through the end. That was my tier list. I hope you hated it. I hope you hated it. Because that's the purpose of tier lists. Tier lists are meant for you to watch and say, oh my god, that this guy clearly knows shit about the band or about music. And that's it.